Millionaire's mother begged his son's girlfriend to stop cutting hair, until his son rushed in shock. Everyone in the city knew Mrs. Anderson, the proud mother of a millionaire son who owned one of the biggest companies in town. She lived a life of luxury, surrounded by wealth, beauty, and prestige. But one afternoon, while walking through a poor neighborhood, she froze in disbelief. There, under a small tin roof, sat her son's girlfriend, cutting people's hair for free. Mrs. Anderson's heart filled with anger and confusion. Why is she doing this? She's humiliating my family, she shouted, begging the girl to stop. But what happened next changed everything. Because when her son arrived, he didn't look angry, he looked shocked and heartbroken. What he revealed that day turned a simple haircut into a story of love, sacrifice, and a secret that would forever change their lives. Sophie was a kind, humble girl who believed that true beauty came from helping others. Despite dating Ryan Anderson, a millionaire businessman, she never cared about wealth or status. She ran a small community project in the outskirts of town, offering free haircuts to poor children and struggling single mothers. To her, this was her way of giving dignity to those who had lost hope. One sunny afternoon, Mrs. Anderson decided to surprise her son's girlfriend with an unannounced visit. But as she entered the narrow streets, the sight before her nearly stopped her heart. Sophie sat on a wooden chair, with a young boy before her, carefully trimming his hair. Around her were smiling families, thanking her for her kindness. But to Mrs. Anderson, it looked like shame. A rich man's girlfriend working like a street barber. Stop this nonsense, she cried. Do you have any idea what people will say about our family? The crowd went silent. Sophie looked up calmly and said, Ma'am, I'm not doing this for attention. I'm doing this for them. They can't afford to feel forgotten. Mrs. Anderson's voice shook. You're supposed to be a millionaire's girlfriend, not this. But Sophie smiled softly. And being his girlfriend doesn't mean I stop being human. Mrs. Anderson stormed away, furious and humiliated, unaware that her son was about to arrive. And that what he saw next would break his heart. Ryan had just returned from a business meeting when one of his friends mentioned seeing his mother arguing with Sophie in the slum area. Confused and worried, he rushed to the spot. As he arrived, he saw Sophie surrounded by poor children, her hands gently moving through their hair while they laughed and played. But what truly stunned him was the look on his mother's face, one of disappointment and disbelief. Mom, what's going on? Ryan asked. Mrs. Anderson crossed her arms. You need to control this girl. She's embarrassing our name. Ryan turned to Sophie, speechless. Why didn't you tell me you were doing this? If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes kindness still exists in this world. Stay tuned for more emotional and inspiring stories, only on Life Turn Stories, where every tale has a lesson that could change your life. Sophie wiped her hands and said softly, because I didn't want praise. I just wanted to give these kids a moment of happiness. The words pierced Ryan's heart. He looked around, at the worn faces of people smiling for the first time, at children who now stood tall and proud. Then he turned to his mother. Mom, do you remember Dad's last wish? He asked. Mrs. Anderson froze. He wanted us to never forget where we came from. Dad grew up in these streets. Sophie is doing what we forgot long ago, helping others without expecting anything back. Tears welled up in Mrs. Anderson's eyes. She remembered the days when her late husband used to help the poor quietly, never asking for attention or reward. And now, her son's girlfriend was living that same value, but there was more, a truth Ryan was about to reveal that would change how his mother saw Sophie forever. Ryan turned to Sophie and gently held her hand. Mom, there's something you should know, he said. Sophie's father used to own a small barber shop. When he passed away last year, she promised to continue his legacy by cutting hair for those who couldn't afford it. Mrs. Anderson gasped. I didn't know. Sophie nodded, tears forming in her eyes. My dad believed that a simple haircut could restore someone's confidence, make them feel human again. This is my way of keeping him alive. The crowd listened quietly as Mrs. Anderson's face softened. All her anger melted away, replaced by understanding and guilt. She walked closer to Sophie, touching her shoulder gently. I'm sorry, my dear. I misjudged you. You've done something beautiful, something I had forgotten to see. Sophie smiled through her tears. We all just need to remember where we came from. Ryan hugged them both, whispering, Dad would have been proud of this moment. From that day forward, Mrs. Anderson became one of Sophie's biggest supporters. She even helped her open a small charity salon called Cuts of Kindness, where barbers and stylists offered free services for people in need. The story went viral, inspiring thousands around the world, and for Mrs. Anderson, that day wasn't just about learning a lesson, it was about rediscovering the meaning of true wealth. Not money, not fame, but compassion.